All right, y'all. Bearded Bros Golf Show. We're back at it again for another week. I am Rod.
And I'm Marcus.
All right, man. We're just gonna kick it off in other sports news that does not involve golf. Our hometown Texas Rangers 1-1 in the World Series. Strong comeback at the end of Game One and taken out to the woodshed in Game Two. Hopefully, they have some of that road magic that they had against the Houston Astros in the last series going for them
Absolutely.
starting tomorrow.
Rangers and five. I got all my Texas gear on. I got my math stuff. Got my local golf club hat on, repping Firewheel today. Go Mavs. Luca's going crazy right now, early on, but I'm
Yeah.
excited. I'm excited. Dallas Sports is doing what they're supposed to be doing right now, Rod.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough I randomly was in San Antonio
Both
for the
games. I'm
season
so mad.
opener. Season opener in San Antonio. Got to see Wimbignana. They're going crazy down in San Antonio for him. The jerseys were heavy. Had jerseys and t-shirts, and
Oh yeah.
Luca stole the show at the end, with another clutch
Per
three, and then he
usual.
just went nuts against the Nets on Friday. So got to see both of those in person. Start off the NBA season to an amazing start for the Dallas Mavs. So hometown
Absolutely.
sports doing pretty damn well, and Cowboys win today. All things are good in Dallas,
What
with
a
the
week.
exception of this 40-degree weather.
What a week, man. So
Yep,
elated.
yep. So, all right, let's get it kicked off on our kind of stories from golf stories for the week. We had two Corn Ferry players, two that you don't know. I promise you, you probably don't know them. Vince India and Jake Stoyano. Um, Vince has been a Corn Ferry player since 2015, so he's in year eight.
Yeah.
Looks like Jake 2 years in. Neither one of them largely successful. They could probably go take their college degrees and go make some more money in the real world. I just kind of did the
Yep.
math on Vince. I wrote it down here. So my guy has career earnings of like
I'm
six
like,
hundred and
yeah.
thirty nine thousand, averaging $82,800 per week per year. Again, go take that college degree, get into the finance game. You can go make 100K somewhere rather than grinding out on the golf course and clearly needing to supplement and gamble. And Jake has just a total career earnings of $30,000, 910. Bro, so they were caught betting on golf, PGA Tour, Corn Ferry, pretty mum about the details. I looked for a couple of other articles that would have some insight, and they were pretty tight-lipped. So, uh,
Yeah.
only real facts that they had were, that they didn't bet on events that they competed in, and it seemed like
Yeah.
they were PGA Tour events. What do you think about this, man?
Yeah. They said, I kind of read a little bit of the article as well. And they were saying that the rule changed in 2021. Honestly, pretty much when the Calvin Ridley situation happened in the NFL, pretty much it just lapped into every kind of professional sport just to kind of clear all bases. But they're saying anything under the umbrella of the PGA Tour. That could mean you're going out for a parlay and you bet on PGA Tour Canada player, such and such. Even that could get you caught up. So like the
Mm-hmm.
umbrella is big, but yeah, just like you said, pretty sure it was PGA Tour that they bet on, something that they weren't involved in, something that they probably won't ever reach. Seems like India is a lifer, Corn Ferry Tour lifer, and then Solano. I don't even know if he's going to get it going, but yeah, I
Yeah.
think the suspensions were warranted. I don't think you should ever have. I don't think you should ever be able to bet on your own sport. I just
Mm-hmm.
think that is, in a realm of a no-no to me. Feel like
It's a big faux pas.
gambling
You
and
should
stuff.
never.
Agreed. Agreed. I think everything you bet on everything else at your own leisure, that's fine. I'm not a gambler in my own realm past like a few poker cash games where whatever money I lose then and there is done with. I'm not going back to the ATM. We're not wrenching out $1,000 and stuff like that. So to me, it's already a bad. It's already a slap on the hand, well, no, and then for them to do it in their own sport, it's just it's a bad mark. They're
Yeah.
probably like, well, what's the big deal? And it's like, if you
Well,
had
there's
any
always
kind
going to
of
be that crew. There's always going to be that
yeah,
type of person out there that's like, what's wrong with it? And you go, I don't even want to
100%.
engage in any comment section on this story because you would see that comment like, why? What's wrong with that? Why can't you bet
Yeah,
on yourself? Um,
a lot of people don't have
you saw
integrity like that.
exactly. You saw that when the rumors came out earlier this year with Phil Mickelson betting on possibly the Ryder Cup and against
Right.
betting for the US, and you would see the comment section and folks are just like, "Oh, he's got confidence in himself." And all it takes is, you being down, on some bets and, you kind of wade into the waters of, "Okay, well, let me bet against myself." And you have a few errant
You
shots
know,
here and there. It doesn't even have to be some major win-loss bet. There's prop bets out there where, you could, you know,
truly. Side bets, all kinds of stuff. That's
so
why
it's
gambling and betting is it's such a no no to me. You can go down
mhm.
such a dark path and get into such a dark, deep hole that you can't even before you know it, you're 4 or 5 bets down, and now you're like, I don't even know how I'm gonna make it up. Well, yeah, that's the whole point in gambling. Yeah, it's a win or a loss, and sometimes you lose, and you're not gonna make all that back. You're not gonna be able to recoup that back. Yeah.
Yeah, the odds are rarely in your favor, and in the gambling world, there's always the seedy element where there's guys hanging around on the fringes that you might be tempted if they just put a little extra money in your pocket just for some certain results. And it may not
Hmm.
just be you betting on the result, it may just be somebody greasing your palm to go get that extra money. So I agree. It's just it gets into an ugly area. It should be avoided at all costs. Go bet on another sport of some, there's other stuff to
Yeah.
bet on. Why keep it in your sport and even risk that as a possibility? So shout out to them. I mean, it's kind of like the guy earlier this year that we saw that was cheating on the PGA Tour Canada. The likelihood of these folks ever making it up to the big show are were already long shots. But now that you have this kind of barrier, 3 and 6 month suspensions, the likelihood of that ever happening for them is probably low. It's not like they were world beaters to begin with.
Right.
So anyway, moving on. Last night I tried. I stayed up late, trying to catch the end of the LPGA event over in Malaysia, the Maybank, and
Hmm.
it was a really good tournament. I got killed by the weather delay. They had an hour and a half weather delay in the middle of their playoff against Celine Boutier. She was shooting for her fourth win against Gino Atakal. Who I'm gonna screw her name up. Say it for me.
A,
I know you
a,
know her name.
a, a Taya tentacle.
That still sounds weird. Gino. We're gonna call her Gino. 9 hole playoff is what it ended up being. I think the playoff was paused after like hole number 1 or 2. They ended up
Yep.
going a whole 9 holes, with Celine Boutier ending up winning her fourth tournament of the year. She was already number one in the race to the CME Globe standings going into the tournament. Lily Avu on her tail number 2 did not play in this, and this was a no cut event. So to me, missed opportunity there. The CME Globe is a $2 million end of the year prize. I would be over there in Malaysia playing if I was Lily Avu, but she made a different
Sure.
choice, needed maybe some rest. Who knows if she's nursing an injury. There's 3 tournaments left. They're going to play one more over in Asia and 2 more over stateside. So she's got a few opportunities to make it up. Hopefully she travels back this week for their tournament. And then I'm assuming that Celine Boutier with her fourth win also would overtake the Rolex standings back in first place over Lily Avu as well. What do you think about this, man? I mean, she's having a killer season. I didn't realize, I didn't pay attention. Like she was actually keeping up with Gino, who's pretty damn long.
Yeah.
Celine's got some length on her as well. What do you think about her game shaping up this year in 2023?
Yeah, I was just getting ready to mention something similar. So they were in the coverage talking about how Tentacle is literally, top five in ball striking on the LPGA this tour, which is a statement in itself because everybody on the LPGA is a ball striker. So for you to be top notch in that category and y'all going, toe to toe on that, that was a really nice show. Pretty much, I caught about half of it, like the second half of it. And,
Mm-hmm.
Celine BTA, she's really sneaky long. And I think it's because she plays that lower Pearson flight and then just gets the ball on the ground and lets that thing trickle out and roll out a lot more. Because, I mean, if you see her off the tee when she's playing par threes longer and stuff like that, it's nothing for her to, chop off a hybrid, a four hybrid from like 180 instead of, coming into the green with like a 5 iron and then chasing off and stuff like that. So she's definitely a gritty player that you always have to be, have your head on the swivel for because just like last night, she got it done somehow, some way. I mean, I was honestly just, me, I was rooting for Rosang, and
Mm-hmm.
she got lapped. You shoot a 2 under round and you get lapped out on the LPGA. You start the tournament 18 or 19, you start the final round 19, get to 21 and don't even make the playoff. Like that's insanity to me on a side note. But,
Yeah.
Celine Boutier is gonna keep going and three matches left. And then probably she's gonna get some rounds in with the LET tour as well. So, she might win again before the end of 2023. She is
Yeah.
dangerous right now.
She really is. Just has the game going, has a good command of where her ball is going. So, shout out to her for just really getting it together, winning a major this year, and, seemingly, competing for the top spot in golf. And again, I'm going to sound like a broken record. We want to see people continuing to capitalize on their momentum. I hate one hitters and, you disappear. So
Absolutely.
kudos to her for really solidifying her season and going after that big money prize at the end of the year. Quick little side note, not super important, but as the LPGA continues to raise their profile, they have announced the tournament for next year at TPC Boston with one of their biggest prize
Wow.
pools outside of the major. For I think it's total of 3.5 million. Which again, outside of a major, is one of their biggest prize pools. So I guess they're kind of going along with the whole, featured, you know, uh, like kind of the guys went to this year. So shout out to
Yeah.
the LPGA trying to put some money in the till for these ladies to be able to compete and feel like it's something that's worth their while and not having to just play crazy schedules to be able to make a decent living. So I just saw
Absolutely.
that earlier this week. So shout out to them. And yeah, so that's our LPGA. I don't want to go without mentioning it. We let it slip by last week. Adrian Moronk ended up winning his third tournament of the year, the Andalusia. I think it was Masters, and really kind of solidifying why he should have been on the Ryder Cup team for
Yeah.
Europe, even though clearly they prevailed and had enough talent besides that. But I really feel like that man is going to go on a 2 year tear trying to prove himself. It seems like he's got that juice in him. He's a little bit older than I originally realized. He's 30 years old. So I can imagine for him,
Mm.
getting in some Ryder Cups before his career, kind of tilts over the mid 30s mark is important to him. What do you think about my guy, kind of trying to prove a point after the Ryder Cup snub?
Yeah, I mean, us. We were talking about it, amongst ourselves from the jump. Soon, like next week, we caught the interview. He was already emotional about it, so I definitely think he had the Arthur fist the whole time he was out there playing, and I mean, it's showing. I mean, he's doing everything perfect right now. He's got a nice draw. I mean, a nice fade. I'm sorry. He hits it left to right
Mm-hmm.
pretty much on control every time. It's a perfect little out the window little mid flight. He can get it up high if he needs it too. I mean, one of the most unique pre-shot routines you'll ever see. Pretty
Yep.
much almost full swings it, comes to a complete stop, and then reloads and hits it. And I mean, guy at 6'5", 6'6", I mean, he moves it out there. It's easy for him. So I definitely think that him proving a point, getting another win on the year is I mean, all he really needs, but I think he'll continue on the tier, just like you said. I think 2024 is going to be another good year for him. And
Hmm.
hopefully we see him in 2025 so we can give him a nice little spanking when Team USA comes back at home.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see here. I want to jump around here. So, saw an article actually today. I think it was posted sometime either early in the morning or late yesterday, kind of about from the Golf Digest team talking about the um, I guess most effective putter stroke and kind of looking at standard grip, cross-handed, left hand low for those uninitiated, the arm lock, the long putter, and it was very interesting in terms of the results. And of course, the standard grip is the most common on the tour. I think there were less than 30 folks in the stats, and I have this article linked down below as well. Less than 30 that actually use cross-handed, the most prominent being Jordan Spieth, and only a couple of guys, Akshay Bhatia and Matt Kuchar, that use the arm lock style, and they both use different variations of that. And then I think there was a total of five guys that used the long putter, most notably our guy, Adam Scott and Lucas Glover. That we talked about a couple of weeks ago, or maybe last week, in terms of him kind of regaining his putting prominence and curing his yips. But the results were interesting. And I think ultimately, left hand low, cross handed, ended up really kind of winning out across the board overall, versus, slightly edging out the standard putter grip. I know you do. You go standard. What do you think about the
Mm-hmm.
results of this quick little study that Golf Digest
It's
did?
yeah, it's believable. I think so. What to me, the left hand low look on a right handed golfer is really the best way for you to make sure that you're aiming correctly, keeping it on the same path, and then as well, it's making sure that you're reaching the same low point, so you're hitting it out the middle of the putter instead of when you're conventional, where you're trying to really hit it on a pendulum. So sometimes you hit it on the up, sometimes you hit it on the down, sometimes you hit it on a little even spot in the middle. So it's a lot more variation on strike unless you train it with conventional grip compared to the left hand low grip. To me, I just could never get comfortable over that. Even though I am left handed, it is the strangest thing. It doesn't feel natural to me. I can't, I've tried
Well, I
multiple
think
grips
I,
with
I
it.
think you have to provide. I think you have to provide some more outlook to that, right? So I think you do a number of different things differently, right? So you swing golf clubs with your right hand, but you write with your left, right?
Yep.
When you played baseball, you swung from the left side of the plate, correct?
Hmm.
So your brain is like all scrambled in there. So I don't think that's
It's a little bit convoluted in there. Yeah. 100%. A
I
hundred
don't think
percent.
that's fair. I know they said they referenced on the article that the left hand low evens out the shoulders. Yeah, I mean, I guess depending, even if you were a lefty, if you went left hand, or right hand low, whatever,
Yeah.
it would do the same, have the same effect versus, like you said, there's some variation on the standard grip that you could, end up putting some artificial lean, or your right hand side dips a little bit lower than your left, that it creates some, hit with your right hand, where you're overtaking it, and you have some pulls or pushes that you don't always end up on plane. So it was very interesting. The one thing that popped out, that was interesting, in favor of the guys who were using the long putter, is that they had the lowest occurrence of three putts, and I found that
I
super
knew it.
interesting.
I knew it. I didn't even have to read the article because their pace is amazing. Once you get
Yeah.
it down, they're always around the hole. It's just, can they read the putt? and line it up correctly. And that's why we talked about it. Adam Scott aim points and his putting went up astronomically when he started aim pointing. And then he said he's been doing that since 2013, 2014, like right around when he won the Masters and stuff like that. That's what
Hmm.
that does. So his pace has always been immaculate. And then he's got the green reading down now. It's so crazy how each individual standpoint has something that it's got going on that it's very good at. But it's to each their own, which is the best part about golf. It's not necessarily the same thing over and over again. It's how is it going to go in the hole and who can get it in there quickest. And you use the left hand low,
Yeah.
and you've been there,
Yeah.
easily over 5 years now,
I
right?
switch
You
back and
switched in
forth.
between, you know,
I switched back. I'm like right now I'm standard grip, but after reading the
really.
article, I almost wanted to go and put a long
Get
putter
it
on
on the
lease.
green.
I
Ooh.
don't know. It's just I don't know. You just want to try out some different stuff, especially on the greens. When you think about the difference between a couple of three putts here and there, or reducing your, getting down to single putts where you're converting bogeys or more, birdie
True.
opportunities and turning them into scoring chances. I mean, that makes a huge difference to me. So if I can get 5 strokes back or, three on average every round, sign me up. Whatever it takes or
That's true.
costs to do that. So anyhow, shout out to the putter research. Like you said, that's the one area that's unique to every individual in the game, and no two people do it the same. Like I said, even though the arm lock only two guys do it, they both have a unique style of how they execute on that
Oh yeah.
deal. So, one more thing to before we kind of go into the Roger Steele deal. Um, a follow up to the framework story that we touched on last week. Just kind of some extra money floating around the PGA Tour. A group called Endeavor, who actually runs the WWE, um, showed some really strong interest in partnership with the PGA Tour, which their CEO came out and said that the PGA Tour, has roundly rejected that proposal. And, I'm sure when it comes to them partnering up with the Saudis, that the Saudis want the rights of first refusal. I don't think they want to partner up with anybody else. Money's if they can get the deal together, money's not going to be an issue. But again, these kind of private equity groups are swirling around like flies on the dead carcass, which not that the PGA Tour is a dead carcass, but clearly they smell some
It
blood
might
in
be
the
a dead deal.
water.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Body's kind of riding on this deal going on. So
I know we've gotten really no news on it in that's productive in the last couple of
yeah,
months, and again we're up against, just as a reminder, a December
that
31st
deadline.
deadline. Yeah. But yeah, they just roundly out. They just said there will be no partnership with this particular group. Um, so I'm pretty sure I'll be able to get it out because I'm not traveling for work this week. But I at least have filmed a quick little video talking about private equity money in golf. Not on this
Yeah.
side of things, but from the equipment standpoint, and just talking about fitting and how it impacts you as the consumer. So be looking for that video. At the end of the day, all this kind of private money floating into golf does not help the consumer. It helps grease the pockets of kind of guys who have millions of dollars to throw around, but you as the end user, you get screwed. So I'm going to kind of talk about that, and ultimately I might have another video depending on how this Saudi thing ends up, about how it's
Yeah.
going to impact that situation as well. So you get a lot of stuff out of this channel, y'all. A little business knowledge, a little technical golf knowledge, a little BS in here and there. You're in a well-rounded environment. So uh,
Absolutely.
hit that subscribe button, hit that membership button. We got you covered on all things golf. So I'm gonna pull up this kind of transition into this Roger Steele video. This is a kind of a shorter version of this, but me and Marcus always have been part of the No Gimme gang. When we have our individual matchups, very rarely do we give up
We
putts,
don't
even
play
if it's
that.
in match play. We do not play that. And I will give a little personal anecdote. So in my group, we do some casual stuff occasionally. During our league play, we put everything out. We pay
Yep.
out for lowest putt, so we put everything out. No gimmies allowed. But when we do some, other stuff inside of the week, we will maybe do some gimme putts. And I'll be honest, man, I hate it. Like I played around yesterday where, they were giving up some putts, and it's like you lose your concentration and rhythm. Where some of them they give you the putt, and others it's like, okay, I got to go over this putt, and then you're sitting over there kind of waiting. Are you gonna you're hovering over this quick little putt, and you're like, are you going to give it to me? I hate it. I don't know. I just don't like the change up of rhythm. I rather just put everything out, take every putt seriously. It
Yeah.
just to me keeps my game sharp. But we're going to listen to Roger Steele and then come back and let you give your thoughts on this.
There trying to hold down the movement, quit that gimme life, cold turkey, but you're probably getting a bunch of pushback and going through withdrawals because you got haters in your life that's not interested in playing real golf and making putts to finish golf holes. I feel you. That's why I got a tip for you. Pause. So today, I got a little putting tip for y'all. And I know what some of y'all thinking. Hey, yo, Raj, how the hell you gonna give us putting advice? You trash at that shit. Correction, I was. But last week, went out to a country club, shot a 67, no gimmies. So until further notice, I am him, and I will be addressed as such and only such.
All right. So what else? What do you have to add to the conversation about the no gimme gang?
Yeah, it's actually kind of like annoying because my normal golf homies throughout the week when I play, when I'm off from work, will come through and we're trying to play early morning efficiently and get it in and get it out. So like they know your ability, so they give you putts and stuff like that. But if I'm like playing for bread or on the weekends or something like that with a new group or like with you and stuff like that, I wholeheartedly want to put it out because it keeps me in the mode of holding putts. I want to lock in. I want to be continuing to read greens because we all know how it goes. When you start getting nonchalant on the greens, it turns over in a lot of different things. You know it when you walk up to that ball and you got the right foot forward and the left foot back, and you got the open stance, so you just kind of flick it towards the hole because it's like a 2.5 foot putt. Something that you would make, but they didn't already gave you the putt, so you just nonchalantly go through about it. So it's like it's just really annoying to me how you have to switch on and off. I wish my groups were all kind of congruent amongst each other so that we could all just put everything out. And it's kind of like it defeats the purpose when they slap you the ball and you pick it up and you go back down after the fact and you say, I want to still hold it. I still want to make the putt. And it's like, well, we hadn't already gave you the putt. Now you're just wasting time. Like, well, let me
Yeah.
putt it. And so
Well,
I
and then it
definitely
gets
see,
and then
yeah,
it gets awkward too if you actually put it and miss it after they
and
call a
then miss it.
gimme. It gets awkward. I'm just saying.
Very true. Very true. Wait, dang, maybe I should have made you putt that. Bro, chill out. You know I
Exactly.
didn't even try. You know I didn't even try. Calm down. It's the
So
worst.
I'm
But
I'm
I,
I'm always for putting it out.
I feel like we play a lot of good courses too now where I want to see the ball roll on greens like that. So, we started out in humble beginnings where the greens weren't always what we were looking at. It was the price. And now, we can push up a couple of extra dollars to get there and play on some primo greens. So I definitely want to see a lot more of that happen. And I'm looking forward to our next match. It should be, in about a month's time, my boy.
Speaking of articles, when looking up some stuff about golf betting, I found this interesting format about like when you're going one on one with somebody, and
Mhm.
it's called Vice, I think, and so you start off with the hole that the dollar amount that you're betting is corresponds with the hole. So first hole is worth $1, second hole worth two, hole number 13 is worth $13, and at the end of it you
Oh,
go through your totals. If you go all out and lose, I think the total was you could lose $171 if you just get on the wrong side of that number. However, the article writer said that he's won, 3 holes, played crap otherwise, but still come out on the profit side because it was either late in
Wow.
the round and the totals were a little bit larger. So I thought that was an interesting format to maybe implement next time.
Okay. Something to think about. Something to
Something to
think
think
about.
about. Yeah, make it
Okay.
a little more pressure.
Yeah. Okay. I like that.
Anyway, so that's really the end of our subjects. Again, we're getting to the end of the year, even though the golf still is quality.
Yep.
I'm not even going to talk about the other DP World Tour event that happened this week. It was kind of blah. That course, I don't know. It just didn't look that great. It didn't present that well on TV. I was like, this is not great
Never
golf.
does.
So anyway, what
I
else you
mean,
got that we may have missed?
well, usually and that's another thing. I don't know why they moved it because usually the Desert Classic is in Qatar on that course, but it's in, mid-February. It's the beginning of the DP World Tour stretch because when Tiger was still really healthy, 2013, 2014, that would be the start of his season. He would play the
Mm,
Dubai Classic, then he would do the Desert, and then he would come over and it would be time for the pro-am on the West Coast on Cali, and then he would do the farmers, insurance or whatever at Torrey Pines. So I don't know
yeah.
why they changed up the schedule on that. That's probably also why it looked kind of janky. And the weather was bad. They had a weather delay like the whole first day, and then Valamaki won in a playoff against Campillo. Just two random DP World Tour players, like just
I
completely
know Campillo sneaks in there, a few times a year, but it was
multiple tours he does this. It's like who? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. I remember him. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh
yeah.
no, multiple
And then
times a year.
watching the dude in shorts, I was just like, bro, I don't want to see
I can't.
big
It's so
this
awkward.
big this big husky man. Come on, bro. Like put on some pants.
It came out on Thursday. It came on Thursday, and I'm like, wait, is this like a replay of the practice round? And it was live, and it was the rounds playing. I'm like, oh, okay. I think the biggest
Yeah.
story out
It
of that
just
was the fact that Jameson retained his DP World Tour card because he went crazy. Like he shot mid 60s the whole week, and he was like, "Well, I needed to get to 116 because he was 119. 116 secures your card, and then after that, he needed to get to a certain number to get a better status. Kind of like on the PGA. So
yeah.
Scott Jameson, former Nike tour athlete, shout out to him. I think that was the biggest story. But
Speaking of the DP
I
World
had another.
Tour,
Yeah, go with that.
no, while we're talking about the DP World Tour, they are now offering guys who are on the PGA Tour in that kind of
Oh,
bottom
right.
rung. I think it was between 126 and 150.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the range was bigger. I could be missing some numbers there, but offering them full time DP World Tour cards. Can you imagine Jimmy Walker over there playing on the DP World Tour out of desperation? Crazy.
Uh, Look, however it may be, if he's slumming it over there, so be it. Go get your bread over there, buddy. I mean, I just don't have a lot of sympathy for that guy. So
I know, but it was an interesting little tidbit. We'll see
yeah,
who bites that apple.
some of them will. I think, and that's the thing. I think the younger crowd will doesn't have the ones that don't really have a lot of established, don't really have mom, dad, brother, sister, da 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 da, no family, no solidified residence, stuff like that. My driver's license still says my mom's address type deals. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't mind that. Hotel to
Yeah,
hotel, be out there for a couple of months, come back to America, fly back out. It probably honestly would be a vibe if you were younger. Get a chance to see the
yeah.
world, play different venues and stuff like that, and make your game travel. Because remember, that's one of the first reasons why Brooks Koepka came in to the PGA Tour already ready. Did the
I was gonna
Challenge
say
Tour,
that
went the long route.
him and Peter Uline were over there grinding it out early on in their
Mm-hmm.
careers, coming out around the same time. So yeah, you're spot
Yeah,
on. I remember seeing Brooks in them early early morning DP World Tour rounds.
yep. Exactly. So nothing wrong with them grinding it out. Respect to them, but just it's just funny when the light hits and Jimmy Walker's over there too, because former major championship winner, not a real good look for you, buddy. Mm.
Yeah.
But
No life. There are no lifetime achievement awards on the PGA Tour. You got to grind it out every single season.
every time. Last thing though, one of my original golf crushes, Allison Lee, she just, scorched the Aramco series this past weekend in their little 3-day event, and shot 61, 61, 65 or something like that to go 29. I mean, she went ballistic out on the course. No birdies on the second round. I didn't see the scorecard on the first, but ain't no way she was birdieing if she was going crazy like that. But shout out Allison Lee, LE Tour, LET Tour. She took the bait. She went over to the LET and did the Aramco series and stuff like that. I'm actually surprised that Nelly Corda, she's in the Aramco series. I think she's a team captain or something like that. Or, she's one of the important players in that series. She wasn't at the event in
Oh
Riyadh.
well,
She actually came over
Corda
to the
played in
Maybank.
Malaysia.
Yeah, she played in the in that event, but also did well. Still finished top 10. Still,
Yeah.
still did what she was supposed to do. But just it was interesting not to see her because I felt like she was over in London at one point during the summer playing on the LE tour at their Ramco and won, by the way, and won instead of playing in one of the LPGA, and it was because it was on a coinciding week where they both played. So just an just something interesting to think about. But the golf with these girls is always going to be pretty premium. And once again, the cream rose to the crop and to the top. And Allison Lee showed up. She's a pencil gripper. She's a pencil grip putter, and she's got it going. So however it may work.
Horrible stroke, but
Yeah,
whatever works for you.
I couldn't do it. Yeah, exactly. I couldn't do it, but to each their own. I don't have
I
anything
think
else ready.
that's a good sign off.
Yeah.
Bearder Bros Golf Show. We're gonna be back at it again. I think if I want to check my schedule, I feel like the PGA Tour will be back in action
Yeah,
next
I think
week.
it's the
World
RSM.
one no, actually RSM is a few weeks out. So we have the
Okay.
Worldwide Technology Championship in Los Cabos, Mexico, going down next week. So
Oh, okay.
we'll see who shows up to that and see who's out there grinding it out, trying to not be on the DP World Tour next year. So,
All right.
Bearder Bros Golf Show. We'll catch you guys next week. I'm Rod.
And I'm Marcus.
Peace.